Welcome to Dirty AF, the podcast where we get down and dirty with dirt track racer Jason Brandes and his race crew. We'll go over highlights, lowlights, and everything in between. Sometimes you'll laugh, sometimes you'll cry, and there might even be times where you get downright angry with us. But in every episode, we hope that you are left with the desire to join us in getting dirty as...
Welcome to the third episode of Dirty AF. I am your host, Nicole Wilson, and it is the evening of June 25th, 2021, and I am sitting here tonight after the races at Gravity Park with the Jason Brandes race team. And on the track tonight, Jason came in fourth in the heat race, and we fucking won the feature! So, tell us, boys, what was going on in your head tonight?
Drive the fucking car. The thing stuck like glue on the bottom. Like, where else was I going to put it? I'm flabbergasted.
All I know is I told Amanda when I'm sitting there like this when you're running around the track before they give you the green flag, and I go, I always hate this part. And she's like, why? I said, because until he makes that first lap and I know the car's going to do what I wanted it to do, I'm as nervous as a son of a bitch until it happens.
I'm not going to lie to you. Them first couple parade laps, I was checking that highline. I want to know if there was grip up there or not. I did. Because I knew the car in front of me is a slower car. I knew the other car that was starting on the pole drives like not a maniac, but you don't know where he's going to go. He often pushes a lot in a corner. So, like, that's me as a driver doing my homework, watching the rest of these guys race throughout the year. Like, you don't know what he's going to do. So, all of a sudden, we take the green flag and we're in two. And, like, that car did what I knew it was going to do. And the other car, I was like, okay, maybe he's holding this line this time. But I still got the cup one. Then we're going down the backstretch. And dude was all whatever he was doing. I'm not even sure what he was doing. And I'm like, all right, dude, you fuck up here, I'm going to close the deal right now because I already felt it earlier that car was going to grip on the line. I knew it. I knew exactly what it was going to do. And it did exactly what I knew it was going to do. Why? Because he knew exactly what it was going to do. And he knew exactly what it was going to do. And it just went. Everybody asked me through, like, after we got back here tonight, everybody asked me, they're like, well, did you feel the 118 and the 07 behind you? No. I was locked in the zone, and it was crazy. I seen the 07 come up, I think we were coming down the front stretch or something, and I seen him set his car on the higher side of me, and I was like, oh shit, what do I do? Hold your line. I actually slowed the car down a little more in 1 and 2 when I see them coming up on the high side, and I let the car roll a little longer before I rolled back to the throttle. And the car just, whoop, I could feel it. It just, and I was like, oh, okay.
The car was a rocket on it too. Yeah. It was a rocket on it too. Every time they close on you, coming out of 2, you would pull back out 2 car lengths. It was awesome. It's like, okay. And then they would close on you a little bit in 3 and 4 because it seemed like you had a little harder time.
4 was tough. 4 was tough again. I don't know if he cut the track differently or what he did there, but we struggled on 3 and 4 last year. We did.
Right.
Or no, 1 and 2. We struggled on 1 and 2 last year. We were really good in 3 and 4 last year. Now, Jesus, crimes.
2 is like a rocket. You
2 is like a rocket.
You gain 2 car lengths every time. Every time you came.
And but you know what helps? What? We actually opened up the throttle on the car.
Yeah, well, that was a little hindrance in the heat race, but
Yeah, so what happened in the heat race?
Well, we started third, we finished fourth. We did a little carburetor work this week, air cleaner, that kind of stuff. And I didn't double check any of my own work because I'm pretty good at what I do. And I put it all back together. We put it in the trailer yesterday. Put it in the trailer. Unloaded it today. Went to lineup. Pulled over on the track. Green flag dropped. I hit the throttle and she went about halfway to 3/4 of the way there and it stopped. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? this thing not go? Why can't I open this car up? Like, what's going on? Turns out, when you adjust certain bolts and air cleaner bolt down, your throttle linkage is going to hit that, and it's going to stop. But in a heat race, though, even though we started third and finished fourth,
that was still a good heat race. I mean, your heat race was just as almost just.
We hung with.
Yeah.
You had all the top point leaders in front of you.
Well, I mean, right.
And
You're in a heat race. You're in a heat race with 1, 2, and 3 points leaders. Yeah. We sit number 4. So 4 of your top point guys are in one heat race.
Yeah. It was a good heat race. It was actually exciting. It was like watching the feature.
Oh my God! I wanted to pile Zitzer so hard a couple times it wasn't even funny. I did. I just wanted to straight up let the car go right.
I don't set it up to do that.
I know. But there were times where I was thinking in my helmet, I'm like, could this car just go right? Just one time? But, then again, that's not how I drive.
Right, should send a thank you out to Wildman for having the part we did.
Barry Van Stratton, thank fucking God he had a fucking air cleaner bolt, because otherwise we were all fuckled for the feature.
No, I had a plan.
Well, I kind of had a plan too, but we could have got it in there, I think. We'd have made it work, I think.
I had a couple bolts that we could have did a little bending and things.
As long as the air cleaner would have stayed on the car, I think we'd have been alright.
I had a plan.
But, yeah, that air cleaner bolt thing, that kind of... And then, we send Chunky here to O'Reilly's to go, hey, come on, we got to have one, right?
Not in stock. It'll come on Wednesday.
Right, not in stock. It'll show up on Wednesday.
We gotta order that. We don't even hold this.
Hey, you do realize we raced in like a half hour, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I ain't got till Wednesday.
That's what he
Can
told me.
can we kind of grub hub it or something? Like, where you just call him and meet her in 10
He's
minutes?
like, we can get her here by Wednesday. I said, I need her in a half hour. That ain't gonna work.
So, and for anybody listening, this is the first time you guys are hearing Chunky on the podcast. And Chunky, he works his ass off. He busts his ass. He does everything he needs to do to make sure we're racing. But he's also the fucking comedian of the group. Yeah. He keeps us smiling. He keeps us laughing.
Like I said, that when the feature started, I said, at least we'll get a top 15 if we get last. So,
I mean,
just
perfect.
saying.
And then what happened?
You got first. See?
Yeah, see? Perfect.
Worked
out well.
Yeah.
And what did we sing before we got into the car? Time to do some sketchy shit. Do-da, do-da. See?
You fucking stopped.
Yeah. Hey, you could get away with it. Did you get away with it?
I got the fuck away with it, you fuckers.
No, but it was exciting. I'm surprised I actually have a voice, because about a half hour ago I couldn't talk because I was screaming, "Come on, Jay!" the whole friggin' the last 10 laps. Just like going, just keep going. You got your line, stay your line, don't overdrive. I'm like,
yeah, I had to keep jumping up and down to look over Nicole because her hands and arms were in the air. I was like, what's going on here?
As exciting as this is for us, I feel like this is probably just as exciting for the sponsors of the car. Yeah. They have money invested, basically believing in us and, God at the Marsh.
oh God, did he have a grin?
Or did he have a grin on his face, huh?
And I thought he was going to turn my arm off when he won that thing, when he gave me my high five.
Right,
Also, Gary
outside, Jen. I mean, she was a black climbed out of that car in Victory Lane.
Where was the GoPro this week?
Yeah. Where was the GoPro this week? But no, I was like,
she must have put it in Zitzer's car.
Well, then he saw the whole thing because he was behind.
Yeah, well, you know what?
That's probably why he tried running her over.
That could have been. But, I guess to come back after the past couple of weeks that we've had, to come out here tonight. I mean, granted, we want to be main up at the hill on Saturday. It felt good, yeah, but did it really take the camel off my back? Probably not.
I think it did, though. I mean, honestly, because look at how we started at the hill. Car tire in our heat race.
Well, and that made me feel even worse.
And
I
then
was like, Jesus Christ, 4 tires in 2
And then
days?
the car's like, fuck, Chunky's pulling me home. We
Yeah,
gotta do something good here. I'm scared.
I had dinner with her.
That's true.
We had to talk.
But when we were loading her in the trailer, she even spit the ramps right out the back. Said, I ain't going in there. I know who's pulling this sumbitch.
He's got a good point there. She was even angry when we left the hill.
Wow.
And then she got...
That's because she knew the right she took on the way up.
But
I have never opened a trailer door in my life and seen so much shit scattered in the trailer.
well, hey, you said we got to beat her, and I got us there.
It's an hour and 29 minutes on a GPS. You got us there in an hour and 2.
58.
Sorry. My bad.
Them round roads ever just a suggestion.
I just said he's the one that's going to continue is driving us to the hill.
Yeah, I know. I think I might have to drive for your old man because I think he likes to drive that truck.
We got to keep up with the race car, right?
We got to put some ratchet strap hooks on the side so the tires don't go bouncing all over the place.
Anyways, back to what I was saying. Like, seriously, after the past couple weeks that we had to bounce back the way we did, and then, like, seriously, after the heat race, the first thing, like, in my head, after the heat race happened, I was like, is there fucking anything else I can do about that tonight? I was like, all right, throttle linkage fucked up in the heat race.
And that's why we tell you to shut up and drive.
Good point. However, when I shut up and drive, that doesn't fix what's going through my head.
Well,
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Well, then, all of a sudden, the lineup sheet comes out for feature, and I was like, second row inside. That ain't so bad. It's not a bad starting spot. I prefer to be to the bottom.
I know, but I was waiting for the move. Then you pulled the cup, and you pulled the like.
I almost pulled that fucker off again on the first lap again.
I wanted them to stagger enough that you could just dive and go. I was like,
can't win them all.
No, it didn't quite work.
But like I said, though, for us to have the past couple of weeks we had, and then to come out here, have the heat race we had, and me just was like, oh my fucking god, what next? And then to run the feature, what if we led the feature from what, lap 2?
I don't know if it was two or
three,
or four, somewhere in there.
We held off the other top 3 points leaders for 17 laps. 17 laps of Alex Stump telling me that, dude, your car comes out of the corner like a rocket. And for Gundrum to come up to me and say, well, your car looks so good going around the track, I didn't even want to touch you. He goes, I bumped you once, you didn't even wiggle.
But it might be because that fabricator beefed up that back bumper.
I don't know. I don't know who that fabricator is, but I wouldn't want to hit that back bumper. No. Bad day there. But here we are, 11 weeks into this racing program with a brand new car. Learning as we go. People don't feature it anyway.
We did. Hopefully it's more to come. Hopefully this isn't our ceiling.
Remember last week we said, sure, it would be nice to win a heat race. Do I ever think we'd win a feature? I didn't think we'd win.
I didn't think we'd win the beat up at the hill and then come back this week and win a feature.
Absolutely not. Never even thought of it.
I would have been.
But you know what it took?
Top 3, I'd have been, yep, we're good.
But you know what it took to get us to where we're sitting here right now? With a feature win?
Chunky driving the rip and picked up a chassis.
That was wrong.
Same difference.
That was the start.
That was the start right there. Like,
In a snowstorm.
it was a snowstorm.
With 14 inches of ice in the guy's driveway. Like,
that was hideous.
don't you know that salt is a thing?
There is salt, yes. But I can't thank you enough for the hard work and, the shit you do is crazy. And then I got Chunky. Chunky can't always, he's got a newborn baby. Like, he can't be there during the week, but you know what? The motherfucker shows up on Friday. He does exactly what we need him to do, and that car goes racing on a Friday.
Hey, since we're superstitious people and we all do the same thing, that means I have to drop the 5-pound hammer in your head every week when we're working on the car.
Do not drop another 5-pound hammer.
We just
on
gotta
my head, please.
we gotta hit the other side though, so matches.
Do we have to do that?
Why not?
I don't
Look
know.
at what happened.
I really don't think we need to do that.
Maybe we got some sense in you.
Yeah. Maybe
So that's usually a chunky line, but I had to take it.
you must have changed the tap on early enough this week.
You know what? Mama said she tied him up good before I left.
That's good.
Appreciate you coming on our podcast that we enjoyed this week. And we were talking about, we've had some requests from other guys.
Yes.
To come on,
Eric Dirks, if you're listening, well, when you listen, when it gets posted, we would like to invite you to be our guest next week. So, sometime after the races, showing up at the trailer, we'll take care of it. We'll do a podcast with you. I appreciate racing with you. I appreciate how good and clean you guys race. That's what we do. Clean racing is fun racing.
And all I gotta say, here's to the future win tonight, boys.
Whoop, whoop.
Future win, fellas. Thank you.
Okay, so what needs to be done to the car for next week?
Put it in a fucking trailer and leave it here.
Not much.
Yeah, or no.
Oil change.
Oh, we just changed that out before the didn't we?
We changed oil Friday before you raced here.
I know I have to look at that.
Then we went to the hill, and then we raced.
What do I need?
We're due.
What where?
You'll have your quarter motors.
That's all I need.
The nice thing is there's no dents involved this week.
I know, it's awesome.
No tires to get changed. You know, just saying.
What? Yeah. We got tires.
You know, you're yelling out there about used tires, but they won you a feature today.
They did. Whoever says that takeoffs and tire care and everything else is the key to success, we've been racing every 2 weeks with takeoffs. From, other IMC stock car guys, mod guys.
Sport mods.
Speaking of sponsors, we should probably do a shout out to Brady's because we've had a tough 3 weeks of tire problems, and
Brady's has been doing a lot of work on tires lately.
Stop it in there,
Yeah.
drop them off, and go, yo, Chad, Brady, I got some problems.
You know what?
It's Friday, I said, well, you don't have to do them tonight. I can get by tonight if you can.
As
Give
I'm
me
actually
2 minutes,
sitting
I'll
here
be
in this
right
trailer
there.
right now, you only changed one tire all night?
Huh?
You only changed one tire all night?
No. I changed.
Well, that one's from the heat race, so you changed that one. I know that.
I changed. 2
That-
or 3. Three out of the 4 guys.
That one's
No,
been hanging there all night.
No, it hasn't.
That one got
That
changed.
started. That was your heat race.
Yep.
Oh.
All 4 tires got changed in this car between your heat race.
Oh, well, see, that goes to show how much I pay attention.
Shut up and drive.
I shut up and drive. That's what I do. And I drove the wheels off that motherfucker in that feature.
You did.
That's what
Well,
counts.
technically not, because they're still on there.
Gotta love a chunky.
Gotta love a chunky. You know what? This is what I deal with every day.
I know. I think it
That's
actually don't work
probably-
by me.
That's probably why I still work there. He makes it fun and entertaining. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Have a good night. We're going to get drunk.
All right, so I want to wrap this episode up by thanking you all so much for sharing this. Thank you to everyone here listening, showing us such amazing support while we're all here doing what we love. New episodes of Dirty AF are released on Tuesdays at noon, Wisconsin time, on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Be sure to subscribe where you are listening so you don't miss an episode. And I also want to let you know that each of our heat and our feature races are all on our YouTube channel, the Brandis Racing YouTube channel. So if you want to check those out so you know what we were talking about here in this podcast. And a reminder that we want everyone here listening to come join us in person every Friday night at Gravity Park in Chilton, Wisconsin, where the pit gates open at 3, spectator gates open at 5, and the races start at 7. We'll see you then. Thank you. You have been listening to Dirty AF, the podcast with the Brandis Racing crew. Join us again next week where we will once again be getting dirty as